supporting teachers and seekers of spiritual growth. And I am so excited that you're here to join us today. Today is November 11th, 11/11. 12 years we have been creating classes and events for you to explore what spirituality is to you. And today's our birthday. We kicked it off in Naples 12 years ago on 11/11. Here we are, 11/11, 2023. We are excited to bring a different format for you. We always try to change each year up so that you can enjoy it in a different way, keep it kind of exciting, I guess. So this year, what we're doing is featuring a streaming of our top 5 teachers from the classroom with their top class. So there'll be 5 videos. I wanna make sure that you guys, don't think there's gonna be 25. There's 5 from our top 5 teachers from the spiritual communities classroom. And for those who are not familiar with what that is, each month we feature one of our teachers in a classroom free for a half an hour. It's a great way to get to know the teachers, get to learn a modality, a class, have whatever the teacher's teaching that month. And it's just a lot of fun. We've been doing this for years. People love it. We archive the classes that can be archived on YouTube. We do. And that is where we're drawing these top 5 from. We went back in the archives, dug up the top 5 so that you can sit here and just enjoy them. We're gonna string 5 of them together, and, we'll take a short break in between each one so that in case you need to get pen or paper, run to the bathroom, get something to drink, whatever you need to do, text a friend and say, "Hey, you need to get on Facebook or LinkedIn." I'm trying to remember where I think it's gonna be predominantly on Facebook, but LinkedIn will be streaming as well. And, yeah, I'm hoping to have our, teachers pop in maybe for a live chat. We'll see how that goes. Um and that's about all I have to say as we lead into this. I just want you to be comfortable, enjoy yourself, and that's about it. Get ready. Here we go. Countdown is 2 minutes. Hi, everybody, and welcome to my class on the freezer method. I am Gwen Peterson. You probably know me as the founder of Spiritual Communities Network, but I'm also the creator of Insights and Illuminations. I teach others on how to make that soul connection and live a fuller, happier life from a more soul integrated lifestyle, if you will. What is the freezer method? It is a form of cord cutting ritual. It's a fun way to let go of someone or something that you are ready to let go of. But first, what are cords? Anytime we put our attention on someone or something, we create a connection or a cord to it. Some cords are bigger than others, depending on how much time and emotion we have invested in that thing or person. So if you've been in a long-term relationship, you probably have a pretty strong, healthy, well-built cord with that person. And what is cord cutting? Well, cord cutting is a ritual for disconnecting the attachment you have created. There are many different cord cutting rituals. Some of them you may know as burning bowls. The freezer method is this one. Some people, they like to journal on a piece of paper and flush it down the toilet. There's all different types of rituals. This one's fun because it uses your freezer, and you get pretty much the same effect with any of them, but this has always been a fun one to teach in the classes that I do. So why do a cord cutting ritual? First off, rituals make it easy to stay focused, okay? There's some things in our lives that require us to really focus and commit to doing, whether it's starting something new or stopping something. And rituals are a time where you set aside and you are dedicated to that thing. Letting go lets you let new things in. All right. Sometimes we hold on to things, we hold on, we won't let it go. Whether it's, maybe somebody's done you wrong, so you're in a really rough spot with it. And so you just keep pointing at it, you put all your focus on it, you're in a negative place with it. But sooner or later, if you get to a place where you can let it go, what you create is a vacuum, and the universe loves a vacuum because it will fill it. So when you let something go, you're allowing new things to come in, new places, new experiences, new people. And sometimes we don't realize we've created a cord, and some cords are not for our highest good. And so cord cutting will help kind of alleviate some of those that you met somebody, bumped into them at the grocery store, you had a conversation with them, you formed a cord. Sometimes you just want to let those go. You don't need to have them if you don't need them. By cutting cords that no longer serve you, you are allowing the highest good for all involved. A lot of times, I've heard some people, they use the cord cutting in not so positive a way. And it is a positive experience because it's done with no ill will. The whole idea here is to allow the parties just to go on, live their life, do the things that they were meant to do. Only do a ritual if you intend to cut the cord. And you might think, well, yeah, why else would I do a cord cutting? I would only do it to cut a cord. And sometimes we have our best intentions at heart, and we go through a cord cutting, and the first thing we do is have a conversation with somebody, and it reignites the cord. Or you call them on the phone, or you start following them on social media. That just reconnects the cord again. So when I say only do the ritual when you intend to cut the cord, it's so that you are accomplishing that end goal, which is to move on, to let go, to let that person go, and you move forward with your life in a better way. So Do not call the person. Don't text them. Don't follow them on social media. Don't talk to them to other people. If other people bring it up, change the subject, and then later on, just do a quick cord cutting again that, you don't want, wasn't your intention to make that connection again. All right. So that just kind of gives you a nice overview of cords, cord cutting, the rituals, and it's not hard and fast. I know that there's some different practices out there that have a more structured ritual and it's very ceremonial, but essentially it's your ritual. Okay, it's how you come to it. It's where you are focused in your way and with the intentions that you have. So you can be very ceremonial about it and learn other ceremonies for cord cutting, or you can just have some fun with it and let it create what you want to create to have fun with it. Some of you have been to my full moon cord cuttings where I work with Archangel Michael. And in that class, I've talked about different ways to do the rituals. And again, rituals are just a focused time, a time where you kind of step away from all the day-to-day things going on in the family and you go off to yourself and you focus on the things that you are ready to let go of. So moving along on what it looks like. What you want to start out with is a pen and paper and a name of whatever it is or the person that you are wanting to let go of. All right. You don't need a full name. And it could be a person maybe that you don't know their name. You could give them a name. All right. Because you know who it is. You know the intention that is with this. So the accuracy of the name is not important. Again, it's the intention that you're holding when you're doing this work. So you're going to write the name on the piece of paper, and then you're going to place it in a container, a jar, ice cube tray, whatever works for you. Okay. Long time ago when I first started, I had the old timey ice cube trays and I would just pop people in there. Back then, when I first started out my spiritual practice, I had a lot of people in the freezer until Gwen got her stuff together. So that works. I've had people suggest that you can get little jars with lids. Those work well. I've used little Tupperware containers, without a lid, because what you're going to do is fill it with water. So whatever you use, make sure it's something that they can hold the water. And if you're worried about the water spilling, look for something with a lid. You can make it fun, get a fun jar, ceremonial. Again, it's yours. Make it yours. And sometimes when you do the paper in the water, the little boogers want to float around, okay? Sometimes they don't sink to the bottom. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll just kind of hold it in there till the paper gets wet enough to stay down. I'll put it in the freezer, wait, and make sure it stays down. But sometimes you can use a crystal, like just a little one, a little rose quartz maybe, because it has love and you're doing this with love. Obsidian. There's different crystals, have different aspects to them. So you could use a crystal in there or a paper clip to weigh it down. I think I'm going to stop here and kind of go back to the piece of paper. I recommend a piece of paper. Now, I do have a good friend, Sandra, who did hers with a photograph. Okay. She took the photograph of the person and she put it in the water. And she had some weird stuff going on where she checked in and the picture had raised up and it was peering over the top of the jar at her. She tried stuffing it back in, remelting it and everything. Um, I would steer away from pictures because that's, I don't know. I don't think I need a picture staring back at me. And you'll also see later on why a picture probably is a better thing to not work with. Stick with the paper with a name. So you're going to weight it down. You're going to put some water in there. And then we put it in the freezer. And that's all there is to it. You put it in the freezer and you don't talk about it and you don't touch it and you don't go back and visit with it in any way or form, all right? Because you are cutting the cord with it. So you can leave it in there for as long as it takes for you to not remember who it is anymore, okay? Sometimes with the ice cube tray, I didn't know who was who anymore. And so I just kind of at some point just dumped the whole thing out. Now, if it's just a person, I'll pop them in. And, months later, my daughter will usually find it and she'll be like, who's this? I'll be like, I don't know. And that's usually the time to throw it out. Okay. So when you do not remember who it is or what it was anymore, you can dispose of it, throw it in the trash, flush it down the toilet. If you want to melt it and burn it, I guess you could do that. Whatever you feel you need to do. I just dump mine. I don't mess with it because I, again, don't want to ignite that connection again. So it's probably best not to open it and look to see who it was. When, if you're like, oh, I don't remember who this is, I think I'll take a look. No, no, just dispose of it and be done with it. Now, if you find that they're in there and they keep popping up in your life, you can repeat the ceremony, rewrite their name on a piece of paper, fold it up, put it back in the water and put it, back in the freezer. Because chances are, if it's something like I mentioned earlier, if it's a relationship where you have a really strong, heavy cord with that person, a long invested connection, you may find it takes a while to really let go of that person. So they may keep showing up. And if that's the case, just repeat the intention that you want to let them go. And it's for the highest good of all involved. All right. And you can, I think I mentioned, make the ritual yours. So you can play with things like putting some sugar in there to make the person sweet. Sandra suggested tin foil so that they reflect back on themselves. She even mentioned playing with paper clips, pink. I would say pink because of love. You want to send that person love as you send them on their way. Or black. Black tends to be more of a protection color. So you could put black on there, a paper clip, and play around with different crystals. Obviously, if you're putting crystals in there, you might want to pull your crystals out and save them for another time. Or if you don't care, you can send the crystal off with the person that you're sending on their way. The idea here is to be positive, okay? This whole intention, the ritual, is not meant to be vengeful, okay? I don't recommend doing it from a place of fear, anger, or hate, okay? It's part of your spiritual practice, and your spiritual practice should be one of you coming to a good place, forgiveness if you need to, but from a place of love where you're just allowing that person to move on. Yeah, they might be a real turd, but they're your turd. You can let them go, all right? And send them on their way and wish them the best of everything. They just don't need to be in your life. So you are going to spend a little bit of time getting in a good place, saying bon voyage, putting them in the freezer and letting them go. And if you need to, I threw in on the end here, you could always call in Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael is who I work with for cord cutting. He's the angel with the sword. He loves to do this kind of work. He understands that, we can always use that little extra oomph when it comes to releasing people and things in our lives that no longer serve us.
Cool. Well, hello, loves. I'm so excited to be here and get to know you. Just so you know that this isn't just me talking at you. This is like us having a conversation. I want to understand where you are at along your path of listening to your own divine guidance. So I am Sarah Sparks. I am the spiritual director at Create the Spark. I'm a farm raised, college educated, former local government employee turned business owner who's no longer ashamed of her spiritual woo-woo-ness. I guide fun, fabulous, fashionable females who feel lost, tired, and worn out to level up and lead with their soul, all while listening to their divine guidance. And you may be wondering, and Steve, just because I work with females doesn't mean I don't also speak with men. So don't feel left out there. You may be wondering, why in the world did I choose this topic? Sarah Sparks, what is going on? And I was basically, you should know that I listen to my divine guidance for everything. And so I ask myself that, like, okay, why did I choose this topic? And because you don't know what you have until you almost take it away. And so I want to share a story with you, my own story. And if you're able to come on, I know that hopefully people can come on, but if you can come on the video, that would be awesome, so I can actually see you. If not, I totally understand. All right, so I felt really overwhelmed. I was 18 years ago, many years ago now, but I was 18 years old and I felt really overwhelmed with all the decisions. And there was a lot of questions that were coming to me about, what do you want to do with your life? What school do you want to go to? What do you want to study? Do you have a significant other? Are you going to get married? Where do you want to live? And I'm like, I don't know. This is so much to be thinking about. I felt really overwhelmed. I felt already tired, worn out, and I was only 18. And I'm like, okay, I've got my whole life to live here. I was raised Catholic. And I didn't really know that I could have a conversation, that God, source, creator, spirit, and I could be partners in my life together. So I just threw it out in the dark one night while I was about ready to go to bed. And I was like, God, if you could possibly provide me with some answers of what I'm supposed to do with my life, that would be stellar. Like, I like maybe in a dream or something. I have no idea. Like, I don't know how this works, but I kind of need answers and I need help. So that night, right before I woke up, I had what I call the dream. And I was walking along a beach. There was water and like a bluish teal water to my right. The sun was setting, clear blue skies, seagulls flying over. I could hear the seagulls. I could hear the of the water lapping. There was like shells, white sandy beach underneath my feet. It felt on my skin like it was just really damp and like humid air, and I could just like smell sea salt and such. And about 12 feet in front of me, there was a man that was about 6 feet tall, wide shoulders, a tan neck, dark hair. And I'm 5'9". And I remember in the dream being like, ooh, a man that's taller than me. That's awesome. Because at the time, short men liked me. And I was like, what the world? I like tall men, or at least taller than I am. And so I ended up having, and the whole feel of the dream and like the details of like sight, sound, smell, all the things, it felt like home. It felt like it was where I was supposed to be. And I woke up from the dream and I was like, oh gosh, was that the answer? I mean, like, could it really be that easy that I just asked and I received this vision? I'm like, oh God, I can't actually tell that to anybody because they're going to think this farm girl from Iowa is going to be crazy, being like, I'm supposed to be at the beach and I'll meet this guy there and then we'll live happily ever after. Like that just feels like home. I'm like, that is not going to go. Like, I need a solid plan, God. I need to see like what I'm going to be studying and where I'm going to be going to school. Like, if I say this, I'm going to be crazy. I was like, do you not know my parents? Like, they are Catholic. I cannot say this is what I'm going to go do. And so I just kept it to myself, but secretly down the hallways, actually for the next 10 years, I searched for that feeling of home. And I searched for that man. To keep the story short, because I want to get to all the nitty gritty that would actually help you, but I want to also share some lessons with that part of my life. So 10 years went by. In those 10 years, I had the dream for that full year. I was 18, and I would have the dream for at least once a week, over and over, and just that part. I never saw the man. It never progressed any further. I never saw any occupation or even like me. It was like just that scene, over and over and over and over, to the point that August 1st, then I met my ex-husband, and we were together for 9 years. And we went to college together. I ended up getting my bachelor's of human resources. I worked in local government. I got to the point that I was continually not listening to my divine guidance, and I would get nudges like, don't study, don't have the understudy, or don't get your master's at NIU, which is Northern Illinois University. Don't get it there, get it at Drake. And I was like, no, I need to go there. I would get little nudges like, you should take a right. And I would be like, no, but I need to take a left. Like, I just kept denying the divine guidance over and over and over for 10 years, to the point that what I recognize now is when I disconnect from my divine guidance and who I really am, and what I've noticed in others as well, there is a depression, the feeling of depression. It's that disconnect. It's like you're unplugging from your source, and these emotions such as frustration, anger, fear, depression, and I planned my own death. And the week that I was going to take my life, a young girl, 16, came into my life 3 different times. One, she was at the beauty salon that I was at. Now get this, you can tell by the story that I really didn't want to take my life because I was still getting my hair cut, and I saw her. And then a couple days later, I was tanning, and yes, I know it's bad for you, but I didn't know it at the time, so I just continued to do it. And I saw her there. We had, pleasantries, but there was just something about her that reminded me of me when I was 16. And I was like, dang, like, she just seems so interesting. And then, so that was like a Monday, Wednesday, and then Sunday, my ex-husband and I would always go and have pizza. She was our waitress at Pizza Hut in DeWitt, Iowa. And I was like, good Lord, what is up with this woman? And I finally said to her, I was like, do you realize I've seen you? Now, this is the 3rd time in 1 week. I was like, what is going on? Like, what's going on with you? And she's like, I'm just 16 years old, high school student. I don't know. I was just out at the same places. And I was like, all right. And so we leave. It was that following Wednesday. And the DeWitt Observer has, which is the local newspaper. And I saw her picture in it and a write-up. And I was like, okay, what the world is up with this woman? And she's talking about, and it was a write-up of all her accomplishments. And I didn't see what area, like what part of the paper it was in. It was the obituary, because she had taken her life between Sunday and Wednesday. And right then and there, I heard this voice that I hadn't heard for a really long time since that dream of and I know that there's some that are just coming on. I told a story about a dream that I had, which is kind of the whole point of the story, but that's okay. You can watch later. And I hadn't heard that voice for about 8 years. And I probably did hear it. I just kept denying it. And I heard, Sarah, you're meant for more. And I was like, wow, I am. Okay. So I chose not to end my life. And that girl taught me that, and I think she came into my life to like kind of wake me up and be like, hey, you are meant for more. And so right then I was like, I don't know what the meant for more is, but people used to tell me a lot that I was an old soul. And I was like, you're kind of crazy. I don't know what that means. I'll go back to the Catholic Church and receive my Eucharist. I don't really know what this old soul thing that you're talking about is, but we're going to carry on. So from that point on, people started giving me the book like The Secret, and started giving me other resources. And once I read The Secret, I was like, well, wait a second. I can create my life. Yeah, I'm out of here. Like, I'm not going to be married to this dude anymore, and I'm not going to be living in Iowa, and I'm not going to be studying. I am done with this job. I was a Parks and Rec director at the time, and I am not a good Parks and Rec director. I have a hard time playing with my own children, let alone creating a whole curriculum for children. So anyways, so after those 10 years and going through the divorce and all the things, my friend and my college roommate was like, Sarah, you are a total B. We need to go on vacation together. And I was like, all right, well, where should we go? And she's like, how about Tampa? And her friend says, no, you should really stay on St. Pete Beach. And so we booked a flight on a Legionnaire down to St. Pete Beach. We stayed at the Serrata. We were told to go to Mulligan's 3 different times, which is no longer there. It's like an intercoastal, they have live music bar, grill type of place. Shocker, that's like everywhere, right? So in Florida, along the coast. So we went there after the 3rd time being told, if you can tell, things happen in threes for me. And after the 3rd time being told you need to go to Mulligan's, we went to Mulligan's. We paid an $8 cab ride, and there was no one there. The band was leaving. All the things that people are like, you need to go there. It's so amazing. Like the band was leaving. Like there was like 2 other groups there. Needless to say, I had to go to the bathroom, and I got up and I walked past this man with a baseball cap, t-shirt, cargo shorts on, and flip-flops. Nothing spectacular with it, and he had glasses on. and something felt like home. Like it was like, whew, like I like felt it. And I was like, I must have to go to the bathroom, whatever. Again, denying any sort of guidance. So I went to the bathroom, I came back. There was an awkward situation with a drunk lady, and the guy who I walked past came over and he's like, can I buy you guys a drink? That was really weird. And I know she's like with our group, but it was like my friend's birthday. And yeah, so sorry about that. So he buys my friend a drink and I'm like, score, somebody's finally hitting on my friend. Like, yes. And anyways, we start talking and he offers us a rape-free drive back to our hotel. And I'm like, this guy seems like he's kind of nerdy. I think it'll be okay. So I'm like, and it'll save us an $8 cab ride. I mean, that seems like a logical reason to get in a car with a stranger. So we go back to the hotel. Only he drops us, I tell him to drop us off a few hotels down the way because I still didn't trust this person. He's like, well, let's get a drink and let's go for a walk on the beach. And I was like, yeah, sure, that's fine. And so we started walking on the beach and I dropped my cup and I'm like, ah, shoot. And so I turn around and I get the cup. And at that moment, the sun was setting, water to my right, beach, seagulls, warm weather. And he is like 12 feet in front of me, 6 feet tall, dark hair, tan neck. And I was like, holy. And no, so it's now, I'm now 28. It's been 10 years since I had the dream. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is the doll. And I hadn't even thought about it forever. So much had changed from that moment. I did not tell this man this. I highly recommend, if you are intuitive, you keep some things to yourself until it's the right time. Because I'm pretty sure if I would have been like, oh my God, you're the man from my dreams, he would have went running and screaming. I didn't say anything. We continued to talk for 4 hours. Long story short, he's now my husband, and we've created 2 little Sparkses, Amira and Joy. And I continue to listen to my divine guidance because then, like the next day, I woke up and I started having all the visions that I used to have. Started coming back. I saw this little girl, which I thought I was like, I hadn't slept very much that night because I was up talking to this man. And I mean, I told him, I was like, listen, I'm going through a divorce. I like tried to kill myself like a couple months ago. I'm really not in a great place to be like, hey, I love you, like let's get together. No, not at all. Like I was like, so give me some space. And he's like, yeah, sure, you do you figure yourself out, we'll get together sometime. It was a couple months and we continued our relationship. We would go back and forth from Florida to Iowa for 9 months until I decided to move down there. And that's when I like wrapped up my life and all the things. So the lessons from that story, and you can write these down because I want you to reflect and journal about your own life. I think this would help if there's any sort of stories that you could share, or maybe you already have one that you want to share. So the lessons from this part of my life is, don't let fear of what other people think of you and your life stop you from truly living the reasons why you are here. Number 2, you're always being guided to the right next step. So trust it. Number 3, all you have to do is ask and you shall receive. Over and over and over, people ask me, but or tell me, like, I just don't know what to ask. How do I have that conversation? Is it a conversation? How do I know if I'm being heard? And literally, I had no idea back when I was 18 that, I mean, being in the Catholic Church, I thought that it was Jesus on the cross that I would pray to, and that I'd have to go to a priest in order to have something. And that still wasn't a conversation. And so I also had it in my mind, and I don't think anybody actually taught me that. It was just something that I perceived, that if I wasn't dying or in the trenches or of war or had cancer, that there would be no reason why I would actually pray or have a conversation with God. And so just know that you can ask, just have a conversation. And someone asked me in one of the group programs I lead, she's like, I got this word the other day that I'm supposed to pray more, like, is there some sort of chanting, or is there some like sort of form that I like formal way of praying? And I was like, literally pray is the ask and meditation is the is receiving. So don't, like, it doesn't have to be complicated, and we'll go through that too. And just know that you're meant for more. Like, anybody who ever connects with me, if like that's my core message, is that you're meant for more. Like, more than likely, like attracts like, law of attraction, you're also meant for more. So I'm going to invite you, you can do whatever you want, but these are some questions that Spirit gave me for you to journal about. What have you been pushing away or avoiding or not wanting to believe about yourself for a while now? I'll repeat that, so in case you want to write it down. What have you been pushing away or avoiding or not wanting to believe about yourself for a while now? For me, I pushed away my ability to listen. I did not want to believe that I was able to channel. Like, I tried to like avoid the word channel for a really long time. I had so much judgment around it, but it was me accepting myself and me loving myself. Number two, second question to journal: what do you feel is true and right for you? And you could be in any sort of category, but continue to ask that to yourself. Whatever comes up for you, like the first thoughts that you have, just journal it out. Let's see what comes out. And I'm not going to have you do it right now. You can do it on your own time. And the third question: what are the lessons you have learned so far in your life that others may benefit from? What is a lesson and or lessons that you have learned so far in your life that others may benefit from? And of course, I don't know your occupation. So if you are already like stellar coaches and you're like, girlfriend, I teach all my lessons and I share them frequently, totally feel you. Good job. Keep it going. And you're also made for more. So keep going. All right. So now let's dive into a little further about listening to your divine guidance, because that's why you signed up, right? It's all about listening to your divine guidance. What is divine guidance? What is listening to your divine guidance? And it also can be referred to as channeling, but I want you to think of it not channeling for someone else, but actually receiving and listening to your own divine guidance, your connection to God, source, creator, spirit, whatever you want to call that connection, the universe. In the broadest terms, it is you being a clear conduit for the highest vibration of energy to flow through you. And I see oneself, I see myself as a water pipe in my bathroom, maybe in your bathroom, wherever you want to visualize yourself, but a water pipe. And if there is hair and gunk clogging my pipes, then the water couldn't flow easily through. Same goes for the flow of your divine guidance. If you have beliefs about yourself that are clogging up that channel through which spirit, God, source, creator, the universe, whatever is speaking to you, then you will have a more difficult time receiving and trusting the information that's coming through. One of my, it's my core limiting belief. I feel after working with several people and even myself and guidance I've received, we all have this like core limiting belief. We've got a lot of other believies that all tie into it, but there's usually this core thing that's like, I'm gonna hold on to this because it's probably some sort of life lesson. And we don't have to. And so my core was I needed to be completely accepted by others. And I felt like I could never be completely accepted. And what I found is that a lot of old souls also believe this. They have lived lots of lifetimes and no one can ever understand them. And trust me, you can be understood. And it's also, for me, it was about me completely accepting myself. That's really what it was about. And once I did, and I didn't give two hoots what other people thought of me, that's when things like started skyrocketing. So how does listening to your divine guidance help you? Spirit gave me 3 ways. One, and you can write this down if you want, I don't care. You can take as many notes. If there's questions that are coming up, feel free to raise your hand and be like, yo, I have something for you. So number one, 3 ways it can help. Number one is you make the most effective and efficient decisions. There is women that I work with that are corporate or multi 6-figure business owners who work with C-suite employees, and that arena. They use language such as, I'm trying to really understand these questions and I am trying to make good sales and marketing, yet there is human bias that stands in the way. And there's a lot of 3-dimensional thinking. And then there's spatial all these words. I'm like, listen, rise above it all and just let's tune into your divine guidance. I'm like, we all have our own creative process. If you don't say divine guidance, that's fine. I don't care. But you have some sort of creative process where you connect, where you disconnect from all the human bias and all those limiting beliefs because you've cleared out those pipes and be like, I'm going to tune a little bit more. And that's when you make those most effective and efficient decisions. You are given, so not number 2, how it helps you is you're given the path of least resistance. Like always, you're always given the path of least resistance. It's us that get in our own way and create more resistance. At least that's what I found. And number 3, it helps you to create an easy, effortless, enjoyable life. I literally use it with everything, and I'll give you some examples later. And I have already, but I had to overcome the thought and belief that you had to suffer and you had to work really hard to get to what you want and to create the life that you really wanted to be living. And I learned it through a very simple way. And that's another thing I need to add in there. My husband and I were talking, Craig, tall, dark hair, brown shoulders, you know, that guy. So we were talking. Now you're only going to picture the backside of him. Anyway, sorry, I'll be on track here. So he and I were talking, and he had, this was years ago, and he was in a motorcycle accident and he broke his collarbone, and he was pretty upset about it because he had manifested this motorcycle. It was actually the exact motorcycle that he had as a screensaver, like make, model, color, I mean everything. And it came for sale. The exact amount of money that he got back from taxes, it was for sale for. And he's like, Sarah, is this like crazy for me to get? I was like, no, like you totally manifested it. Like, get it. Like, that's amazing. And so he did. And then a semi turned in front of him and he had to lay the bike down, and he was pretty upset about it. He just broke his collarbone. The motorcycle was okay, but he was upset. He was like, I feel like I got a broken wing. And he was just starting to wake up too. And he's like, why do I have to have a spiritual lesson? And why do I have to have this broken collarbone? And you never have anything like this. All you do is just like have a conversation and you have some sort of aha moment. And I'm like, because that's how I want it. I was like, you have the belief that you have to suffer and experience something traumatic in order to get some sort of awakening and aha. And he's like, well, wait a second. You just ask, and it's like, I just want to have a lesson through a conversation, and then you get it. And I'm like, yes. And he's like, oh my God. And I was like, yeah, like, I don't want to have something bad happen, or no, that is not how I'm going to learn a lesson. So I learned the lesson of not having to work really hard to get what I want. A friend asked me, it was Craig's former boss. It was the CEO of the company, and he was marrying a friend of mine. And they asked me to officiate their wedding. And I was like, I don't have any sort of license. I don't know. I have no idea what to do with that. And Jenny was like, you'll figure it out. Don't worry. But that's why we came to watch you at Toastmasters competition. And we just like how you talk. And I just want you to officiate us. So I connected with a friend who was like, dude, just go on, what is it? It's I completely forgot now. It's the online like Universal Life Church and sign up for it. And I was like, okay, I have my master's and I've paid like lots and lots of money for education. Like, is this some sort of scheme or something? And she's like, no, seriously, like you pay the $38 and you can become an ordained minister and you can officiate weddings. And I'm like, and it's legal? Like, I was like, all these questions. Well, I ended up officiating their wedding and 350 other weddings. And it was the best return on investment ever. I haven't used my MPA degree, but hey, at least I used my very easy license. So that lesson taught me that I didn't have to suffer and I didn't have to work really hard to get something. Another question that people ask me quite frequently is, well, can any person do this? And this is somewhat of a tricky question to answer. It's a yes and a no. I believe that everyone can listen to their own divine guidance, their own inner wisdom, their own source of well-being. I don't think that it's everyone's soul's calling to be able to be that clear conduit of that higher vibration of energy and let it flow and give guidance and information and healing and effective and efficient communication to others, like in that sort of channeling. But I do believe that everyone is able to listen to their own divine guidance and have that connection if they believe in that sort of thing. If you're here, I'm connected to Spiritual Communities Network. I'm guessing that you believe that there's God, source, creator, spirit, some sort of universe that you're connecting to. And I encourage you that if you feel called to, or feel pushed to, or a nudge, or some sort of gut instinct to learn more on how to listen to your divine guidance, then really need to follow that, because there is most likely a reason. I'm going to share with you now 5 steps to listen to your divine guidance. And I'll also put in the chat, if I may, the link to the free guide that I have. There we go, chat. I'll just put free guide. And it's all about listening to divine guidance, how to listen. So there you go, if you need it or want it. But the 5 steps, you can write these down, is number 1, allow. 2, ask. 3, receive. 4, trust. 5, act. And I'll repeat them. Allow, ask, receive, trust, and act. It's really simple. And I did not know that I needed to make a whole 10-week, 4-month course out of this until people started asking me. But what stops us a lot of times from listening to that divine guidance and following those steps, and I invite you to follow them in order, because if we haven't made ourselves available to even ask or allow ourselves to open up or allow for that divine guidance to come in, let go of that control that we try to have, and instead of doing that, and we just jump right to, why am I not receiving? What's going on? And you haven't even asked for anything to be received, and then you're like, I'm not trusting this crap. I don't know what to act on. And it's like, oh, easy there, killer. Let's go back to allow. And so what stops us sometimes is that core limiting belief. A lot of times it's wrapped around, I'm not accepted, I'm not enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not loved, I can't be loved, and so forth and so on. There may be some blame, shame, regret, frustration that is occurring. Some other things that stop us from listening to our divine guidance is believing that someone else is responsible to heal you and to guide you. That's why it's so important to tune into your own divine guidance and continually, even for me, when I am channeling for someone and I'm able to channel someone's soul's calling, like, what a blessing do I have that I get to connect to another person's soul, that I continually ask myself, is this the soul talking? Like, if something is resonating with me, then I need to say to myself, is this my truth? Is this their truth? Is this the truth? And when I am in that, it's kind of, I may have jumped ahead. If I'm in a session where I'm specifically channeling a soul's calling, it's for them, because I take myself aside, I take my humanness aside, and I'm tapping into their soul calling. But let's say, for instance, I do rapid fire channeling on Thursdays. And so I just see a name and I'm like, all right, Steve, 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 and I say it three times and I get a message. And if the message is really resonating with me, I'm like, okay, is this for me? Is this the truth? Is this divine truth? Is this Steve's truth, or is this my truth? Like, what's going on? So I I need to take responsibility for this as well. And so should you. So I never, that's why I want people to be able to tap in to their own divine guidance and not have to rely on someone else to heal them or guide them. I sometimes get clients who expect me to heal them. And I can guide you. I can guide you. It's kind of like saying I can guide a horse to water, but I can't make the horse drink. It's like, I can believe in you until you believe in yourself, but at some point you need to also believe in you. The fourth reason that sometimes things that you stop yourself is you're giving away your power by really caring about what other people are thinking about you. If you have a limiting belief like myself, that you feel like you're not accepted, you would probably be like me for years until it finally is healed and you detach from that emotional attachment to be like, oh, you cared so much about what other people are thinking about you. And if you don't have that, like, rock on, sister and brother, like, you do that. Like, you keep going. I give you total kudos. And then some other things that stop us is trying to control the information that is coming to you, kind of like we try to manipulate the information. Well, I mean, does this what it really means? Or is this a sign that I really asked for? It's like, okay, just have a conversation here. Also, maybe trying to control others. I learned, and this is my helpful tip, and I really want to make sure, and I'm saying this in all presentations I give now, that this is a quote by Suzanne Evans, and she is a business coach that I met years ago. And it's, how you do anything is how you do everything. And I don't know if it actually came from her, but that's, she wrote a whole book about it, so I'm giving her credit for it. But I have clients who don't connect the dots, and so I'm like, I need to connect the dots now for people before they even become clients. That the way that you love yourself is the way that you love divine. The relationship you have with yourself is the relationship that you have with others. The relationship you have with the divine is the relationship that you have with yourself. Allow, ask, receive, trust, and act. Those 5 steps are not just about, it's not just applying it to listening to your divine guidance. It is the 5 steps to stop overthinking and stop those swirling thoughts that stop you from getting the results that you want. These 5 steps stop you from feeling like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. And these 5 steps help call in, if you don't have a significant other already, help call in that person that you've been asking the universe for. And if you haven't asked the universe for this person that you want in your life, maybe you don't, but if you do, make sure you order the right cheeseburger or veggie burger, like with all the details and all the deliciousness and all the experiences and how you want to feel while you're eating that burger. Because if you're vegan and you get a hamburger with cheese, you're like, what? This is not going to do me much good. So make sure you order it. And then, but these 5 steps can also help you discover your soul's calling and actually live it. It's how I doubled and then tripled and quadrupled my own income. If I was going to be teaching how to listen to your divine guidance, I had to do it myself. One soul's calling, and people ask me, and I know this conversation isn't about a soul's calling, but I just want to go here for a second. People feel like, oh man, when you just channeled my soul's calling, like, it's something that I've always wanted, but I've really struggled with. Yes. The thing that you have, that's why I offered those questions up in the beginning, is what have you been pushing away, been avoiding, or not wanting to believe about yourself for quite a while? Those are all indications and those nudges that that's your soul's calling. That's actually your soul being like, yo, hey, I'm in here. When are you gonna let me lead? Ah, yes, I came into your body for a reason. Let's see here. Anything else? Final, just listen to your own divine guidance first. I know often as spiritual peeps, we gather information and then we're like, I've got to share this with the world. Like, it's going to help everybody. Like, let's use it for ourselves first. Tune in, take action, live it, and then take action on what you're being guided to do. And honestly, it's practice equals progress. Allow, ask, receive, trust, and act. And receive, we all receive in various ways. I go in depth with this, and when I work with people one-on-one and in groups, you can reach out to me. You can connect with me at www.sarahsparks.love. You can contact me there. We can set up a chat. There's all the programs there. It's everything's there. Whatever you want. You can also connect with me on Facebook too. That's a common place. I've got a personal, not a personal, I do have a personal page, but a private group there that I pop on all the time. Just know that you're unlimited. You have limitless power to lead with your soul and become the person that you're meant to be, all while listening to your divine guidance. And I can help you tap into it. So
So yes, I work with a lot of higher dimensional guides. We have kind of a collaborative team. I work with a lot of ascended masters and archangels and star beings, especially from the Pleiades, Arcturus, Venus, Sirius, and with a lot of elementals. So it's quite a huge team. One of the things, two of the things that they feel are very important for us to be concentrating on now at this time, especially with all of the high frequency energies coming in on the planet, is to be in our heart. First of all, is like that's our new home base. And what's important is that it's also a multi-dimensional space. So it's a space with which we can move up in frequency more easily. It's also a safe place. It's the place also where we connect in with our soul wisdom. And that's very important for us to be in connection with at that right now at this time. The other thing is that's very important that they'd like us to do is to move up into the next aspect of our higher potential that we're ready to take on. So we're going to do exactly that tonight. We're going to do both of those things. So what I want to take you through is a guided visualization. And I want to give you a process that you can use at any time to continue to explore. So one of the things that we're going to do is connect into your heart sanctuary, because that space helps you to understand more of your soul essence. So it's a great place to explore. It actually has many levels to it. You can invite other guides to come and meet you in there. Today, we're going to connect with our higher self and get some information from our higher self. And then we're also going to move up to the next aspect that we're ready to become. So you will be a different person by 7:30 than you are now. So yay. I'm just going to guide you through this whole thing. The best advice that I have is to be open your sensory abilities, and allow your imagination to help transport you through this. So here we go. Okay, so for now, just close your eyes, just relax in wherever you are sitting. And we're going to imagine that there's a volume knob on your mental chatter. So we're going to turn that knob all the way down so that our mind just quiets. There's also a volume knob on your emotions. So we're just going to turn that knob all the way down so that we quiet emotionally as well. So just let your mind and your emotions settle. Just allow your body to relax, release any tension. Know that you're in the perfect place at the perfect time. And allow yourself to settle down into stillness. Now imagine there's a ball of divine white light that's sparkling over your head. This ball is now going to descend down through your crown chakra. And as it goes through your crown chakra, it's going to clear any blocks, purify, and enhance the energy in your crown chakra. Now it's descending down through your brow chakra, your well of dreams chakra in the back of your neck, down through your throat, down through your higher heart, lower heart, down through your solar plexus, down through your sacral chakra, down through your root chakra, down through your legs, down through your feet, into the earth. Now your whole vertical column of chakras is sparkling. It's your pillar of light. You have a flow of energy going down into the earth and coming up. So you're connected to source from the divine light that was in the white bubble, and you're connected to the earth, and you have a flow of energy going up and down your vertical column. Now we're going to bring the focus to your heart, because your heart is the bridge literally between heaven and earth. Now imagine that you see in front of you a white light trail. And that white light trail, just keep following it. It's going to take you to a door of white light. You come to the door of white light and you pass through the door. And you're now in a room. Just be a neutral witness of the space. Is it an outdoor space or an indoor space? If it's an outdoor space, what type of landscape is here in this area? If it's an indoor space, what type of architecture is in this space? Is there a predominant color? Is there a predominant sound in this space? How does this space feel? Just walk around and explore this space a little bit. Are there any beings in this space? What you see in this space and feel in this space helps to define your soul essence and your qualities of your soul. This space will transform as you transform. But it is an excellent space to just be you, to be your energy, to feel your own soul essence. Now we're going to invite your higher self to enter this space. Your higher self is coming closer to you. Feel your energy connect with the presence of your higher self. We ask the light in this space to adjust to create a strong connection with your higher self. We ask your higher self to give you any important message that they feel is for your highest good at this time. So receive this message, receive any impressions that help you to understand what this message is. If you feel you need a stronger connection with your higher self, just ask them to strengthen the connection so that there is strong, clear communication. And if you feel you have this, you can ask them for any other questions that you have. We thank your higher self for the message. Your higher self is now going to take you in an elevator that's in this space of yours. So they're taking you to this elevator, which could operate any way that you want it to in your imagination. And you get into the elevator with your higher self and you start moving up. And your higher self is going to stop the elevator once you reach the level of your higher potential that you are now ready to be, that you're now ready to own. The elevator is going up. It keeps moving until your higher self stops the elevator. Once the elevator has stopped, step out of the elevator onto this level. And you'll see that there is an aspect of you standing there waiting for you. Just step closer to this aspect of you. Just notice any differences in the feeling of their presence or their looks or their attitude or whatever you can pick up on as being different than where you are right now. Now we ask this aspect to give you a message of what they would like you to receive by becoming them. Now you start merging with this being so that your energies blend into one energy. Now you can see through their eyes and they can see through yours. You are one person. You've incorporated this higher aspect. So now you are this higher aspect. You've now assumed any new skills or abilities or understandings that this higher aspect has to bring you. So just take a moment to take in this new presence. Feel the new energy that you've just now taken on. Now we go back to the elevator with our higher self. We thank our higher self for all the assistance and the messages. And we take the elevator back down to our heart sanctuary as our new self. Know that you can return to this heart sanctuary at any time to connect with your higher self and receive more information, or any other guide or ancestor or angel or elemental that you would like to invite into this space. There is much you can explore in this space, much you can heal in this space. So leave the heart sanctuary now as your new self and return now to your current state of awareness. If they would like to look at my website, it is elementsdesigncollection.com, www.elementsdesigncollection.com. I have many products that are created from my collaborative team, sprays, energy kits, chakra sprays, energy clearing, enhancing sprays. There's many, many things there. And I'm constantly being guided with new things that they'd like me to make. I also have the trilogy of books that I wrote called A Star's Journey, which is on my book, on my website also, which I channeled 84 guides for that. So you can explore all of that. Also, my email is on there. So if anyone has any questions later, they can always email me. And we can discuss things further if anybody has any questions or anything they'd like to share.
Hi, everybody. I'm really pleased to be here. A little scared, but that's okay. It's you will help me get through it just by being here. What she didn't mention that I came sort of resisting because I still had some shadow thoughts in my head that would tell me that I didn't have enough to offer, particularly when I've been in classes before and listened to the regulars that come onto Gwen's network and onto these calls and present classes. And so I said, well, what can I serve? What can I offer that even those that are as advanced as I think they are will perhaps can use something that I have to share? And this Open Your Heart came to me when I was writing my most recent book, which was Finding Inner Peace. I was finishing up the last chapter, and I asked myself the question, what can I offer to people that they can use now that they've established a sense of peace in their own hearts? And I said, well, share what I do. And this came, I didn't mentally think this all out. It was definitely given to me by Spirit. And what, of course, came was Open Your Heart, because you can't have any of these things like peace unless we open our hearts. That's the very beginning. And unity, of course, is all about prayer and meditation and opening your heart. So this acronym came to me, and that's what I'm going to present to you. There are 13. They're a combination of steps and or statements. And if anybody's interested in getting a copy of them, I'd be more than happy if you leave your email address in the chat room later. The first one is, only hold in mind what you want more of. There's a song that we sing in unity, and I'll just sing a little bit of it because it tells a lot. Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Be careful what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there, and every thought becomes a prayer. And that's just to point out that whatever it is we hold in mind is what we create by holding it in mind. So you sort of have to start thinking about, what am I holding in mind? Do I want more of it, or don't I? The second step is prepare each day by beginning it with some quiet prayer time. In my opinion, and in my experience, this is absolutely essential for any of us to even hope to have a continuing experience of peace, of joy, of hope, of all of those things that come out of preparing the day by spending time in the silence and reading spiritual matters. I happen to read the Daily Word every morning, even before I go on to a 7 o'clock call, where a few of us gather and read the Daily Word and then spend time in the silence. Mark Nepo's book, The Awakening, is absolutely tops on my list of books. And those are the ones that I read regularly every single day. So it's important that we start the day with prayer. Elevate your thoughts to elevate the quality of your life. You want to have a more joyful life. You need to elevate what it is that you're doing and what you're thinking and how you're living your life. These are some questions that I ask you to just consider. What comes to mind? Is it lack or is it bounty? Is it fear or is it faith? Is it uncertainty or is it confidence? Is it defensiveness or are you experiencing being open? Is it judgmental or is it loving, compassionate, and understanding? those are the opposites. When we're below the line, when we're stuck, and sometimes we're not even aware of it. And believe me, you can, I know I do. I get there sometimes when I didn't intend to, but I got stressed out. And when stress comes, that breaks my connection with my own heart. And then no telling what's going to happen. So we have the power of choice. And I think that's important for us to all understand. Change your thoughts to change your life. It's really that simple, but it's not so easy. It takes time and it takes practice. Never doubt what your intuition is telling you. And that's simply underlining the fact that our intuition is coming from the inside. And when we feel that intuitive moving us, telling us to do something or to say something, then we shouldn't doubt that, because it's what we need to do. And we need to listen to that intuition. That's very different than someone else telling us that we should do something, or other kinds of feelings that we might have. Intuition is aligned with our being centered in our own heart space. So we're open to hearing the still small voice of God, is the way I like to put it. The next point that I like to make is, you are an exquisite and unique expression of God, and don't ever doubt it. We are all, individually and collectively, we are expressions of God, and we are each unique in that expression. And we should never doubt that. If we are doubting it, that's a good sign if we're aware of it, because it means there's some work to do. It means there's something that's going on at a subconscious level, and it's now been brought up to make us feel uncertain, to doubt. Take a look at that, because it's an opportunity for you to discover what it is that isn't true, but has been perhaps directing your life. And then you get to change that. The next practice is, offer your very best in all that you do, and know it is enough. We like to say, if I could do better, I would do better. And the same is true of each of us. Just know that you are doing your very best, and that's enough for right now. Can't talk about what's going to happen tomorrow, but right now you've done what you could do, and don't beat yourself up over it. And if you are, be aware of it. And again, you can change what you think, because if you're beating yourself up, it is one of those hidden shadow beliefs that aren't true, but we operate from them because we lived with them for so long in our life. Most of us didn't find the truth until we were much older. Maybe perhaps a few of you were fortunate enough to be born into a family where that isn't true. So you should be grateful for that. The next action is to unbind yourself from doubts and unforgiveness, because it is those that keep you from expressing who you truly are. Just let that sort of sink in, because it is when we are doubting or we're unforgiving either of ourselves or of someone else or a situation, that keeps us from being able to express our true nature, which is divine. This is an important one. And for anyone who's working, it's probably even more difficult. I can remember when I was working full-time job, that I had to spend I could only do this perhaps for a few minutes, but it's something today that we can remind ourselves of throughout the day. Relax, slow down, rest, and take in the beauty all around you. And I think those of us who are retired, even though we still have very busy lives, this is something we can all do. Just simply relax, slow down, rest. If you need to take a nap, I take 2 or 3 a day. They're not long ones, but they just allow me to close my eyes, catch 5 or 10 minutes, and then I'm back to whatever it is I was doing. But it's important that we look around once we have slowed down and rested to see the beauty, because there is beauty everywhere. And then that prompts us to feel gratitude. This one I spent a little bit of mental conscious work in the wording of it, because it was something that I'll share what I used to do. So it says, here with an open mind to discovery, what others have to say and offer. And until a few years ago, I would listen with one ear while my mind was busy either discounting what I just heard because I didn't like it, didn't agree with it, or looking to turn the attention on me. That's an ego mind that was operating. I didn't know it, but that's what I was doing. So it's important now for me to hear with an open mind to discovery, which means I don't have all the answers. I'm open and receptive to what others have to say and offer, and I'm open to learning always. So that's an important one for me, at least. And this is another one that's it's a variation on what I've already, one of the previous ones. Enter each day with an awareness of God's presence in all things. And the only way that I've been able to do that is by starting my day with prayer and meditation, and then the readings. And that opens my heart up, and that allows me to see God in all things. This is one that I have only recently begun to learn, and my wife is responsible for me being able to do this. And that's allow time in my day, in your day, for unbridled fun and give it your all. And that comes from someone who was very structured, who, because some of my beliefs were I had to do things perfectly, and there was no time for fun because this is serious business. It's not. It's important that we allow ourselves to have unbridled fun and give it your all. That probably is behind one of the books that I wrote, which was it? Um, Silly Me, There I Go Again, A Path to Self-Acceptance. And it really was having to do with accepting myself just as I am, warts and all, and not be ashamed, be willing to share that, because we all have some warts that we sometimes try to hide. This is one that is important to do, certainly at the end of the day, but I found myself doing it because I've had the time to do it, or I've been stirred to do it. Review your day and learn what you can from it. Before I go to bed at night, I've checked out what has gone into my day that I wish had been different, that I had been different. How could I have handled the situation a little different? And these mostly because most of my interactions one-on-one is with my partner, my wife. So there are plenty of opportunities for me to learn what I could do differently. This is finally, it's important that we trust in God first and then in yourself. Trust in others will follow as a result. And this is constructed because in order to have an open heart, we must have faith in God. We must truly believe that there is a God presence, that we're a part of it. And that gives us the faith first that God is there supporting us internally and through the world around us. And then we have confidence because we are an expression of God. We have faith in ourselves and confidence that whatever we do, it's going to be okay. And we can just be who we are. And when we are able to do that and feel that through our heart and express the best of who we are, trust in others will follow as a result of that, because everyone is an expression of God. And if I can find that in me, then I automatically see it in you. Even when it may not be showing up, but I know that it's there because you are a unique expression and I simply need to look for it. I'm so grateful for some of the people I have in my life who see it when I can't see it. And they know who I'm talking about. And that's something that I aspire to do for others, to see that in others, even when maybe they're having difficulty with seeing it in themselves. And trust in others follow as a result of this. Trust in God first, and then in yourself. And trust in others will follow as a result, because now we're being the best that we are, and we're demonstrating it, and we will see it in others, and they will see it in us also, and it gives them license to be their best self. So you can contact me at either lifepossibitiesfulfilled@gmail.com. That's my website email address. lifepossibilitiesfulfilled@gmail.com. Or you can send it to me. Some of you still know me as Steve Camp. And you can send it to 007, and the RO is not zeros because somebody else got James Bond's address, I guess. So it's little o, the digit 7, Steve, Steve, at embarkmail.com. That's embarkmail.com.
Okay, hi everybody. I am Denise Flood, and the name of my program is Change Your Frequency, Change Your Life. And it is all about frequency, as you can guess. And my goal in this program is to help individuals, families, and communities better navigate the world in greater wellness. And to do that, I teach self-care techniques. And some of the self-care techniques that I teach are EFT, which is known as tapping. I teach how to use and experience essential oils for total mind, body, spirit wellness, and Reiki, many, many different things, but they all involve frequency because all of life is frequency. Everything is measurable. Even if we don't have an understanding of how to do it yet, that is the miracle of everything that we are discovering. What we once thought was, as Gwen would say, woo-woo, is now scientific facts in many, many instances, and things that were accepted and known in ancient times are now being proven by science. And one of the things that I really want to bring into focus today is abundance frequency and divine wealth, and how we are divine creatures created with that blueprint of divine wealth right in our DNA. And I want to tap into that today with you. And we're going to do it in a couple of steps. The first one that I'd like to do is to just show you, I am an EFT specialist, but we're just going to be tapping right here today. So if you place your hand right over your sternum and you tap gently, you will feel that. That is a major meridian point that touches every organ of the body, and it runs right up into and through our brain, back to our amygdala, and taking that fight or flight reflex that was a lifesaver for us in prehistoric times, but is not necessarily good in everyday life today, and brings it back to our emotional and our thinking brain. And so just tapping right here gently and bringing up the topic of money can be, because we all have thoughts about money. We all have thoughts about how we were raised. We have thoughts about when we write our bills. We have thoughts about the economy, the direction of the economy. Bring up anything and you can feel yourself have little parts of your body that might be going, ooh, that doesn't feel so good. And so release is the first frequency that I'd like to talk to you about today. And I'm going to use both tapping and essential oils. And Gwen is going to put in the chat the link where, if you would like to learn more about these, you can find it. And if you don't, then you'll just get it right here. So release is the first one, and I'm going to take a little smell. And these oils are designed for those frequencies to actually relax you and encourage a willingness to let go of any frustration, anger, or struggle. And so if you do have any oil with you, you could use it. If you don't, let's just say the word release and just feel that. You can say that right out loud. I release the ideas I have that hold me back from my true abundance. And just see what that brings up for you. I release any thoughts I have around money and my ability to produce divine abundance. And oftentimes, if you can bring yourself back to a point in your life, whether it's recent or further back, where money was an issue for you, and see if you have any guilt or shame around not being able to do something, to meet your own needs, to meet somebody else's needs. Just sink into that and allow yourself to say this phrase. I recognize these feelings. I acknowledge them for the help they have been in my life. And I allow myself to let them go. I acknowledge these feelings. I see where they are in my body, where I'm still holding on. And I thank these feelings for the service they have been to me in bringing this to the forefront for me to release. And oftentimes people ask me why we start with negative things in tapping. And I say, it is just like if you are going to clean your floors. You don't immediately start to wax and buff them. First, you go into the corners and you sweep out the dust, the dirt, and the debris. And this is the same thing we are doing here. And this is something you can come back to, because our relationship with money, our relationship with many, many things is like an onion, where we peel down and we let go, and then we realize there's another layer. And that is also something to acknowledge and thank ourselves for, because it's healthy. When we have a scab, it doesn't fall off all at once. It falls off when the skin underneath is ready to heal. And that's my analogy there. And so as you feel these feelings, tap gently, take a deep breath, and say, with this in-breath, I breathe in the possibility of release. I allow that thought and feeling of release to enter my body on a cellular level. And I breathe out that which no longer serves me, allowing it to transmute back into the divine light where it will be of service. And so then let's just take a breath. Hopefully you have a little bit of water or something where you can take a sip. And if not, you'll get this recording, and when you come back to it, have that ready. Because water helps us to process, and it's very, very good like that. And the next thing that we're going to work on is forgiveness. We've released some things, and that's great. Let's also work on forgiving ourselves and forgiving the situation of those negative emotions that we've released. And I'm just going to take a quick swirl of the oil of forgiveness, letting go of negative emotions. I forgive Xfinity for the less than stellar service that we are receiving today. Was that divinely put? If I start to cut in and out, just give me a little something. Okay. All right. I did the best I could with the resources and knowledge I had at the time, and I wholeheartedly forgive myself. I forgive myself for making financial mistakes. I forgive myself for the ways I have hurt myself financially through action or inaction. I forgive myself for acting out of fear pain, and confusion around money. I wholeheartedly forgive myself, and I am grateful for the lessons I have learned from these prior actions. The past is behind me. I lovingly forgive myself. It is okay. I now move forward with compassion and loving kindness toward myself. And take a deep breath. If you have a sip of water, when you're ready, take a sip of water. And just sit for a moment and see how that resonates with you. We're going to move into freedom. Freedom helps us to unlock what is burdening and blocking us, releasing our potential. Freedom goes beyond our negative mind chatter and our limiting thoughts. And it allows us to begin to rebuild our lives in a new frequency of awareness of what we're capable of, the freedom to be the very best version, the next best version of who we are. And that's what we want to call in tonight, because that is what we are constantly doing. We're constantly stepping forward, acknowledging who we are through that divine radiance that comes in, that we're born with. Tune into that blueprint. We were born with a blueprint of freedom. Just feel that for a moment. Say, I welcome resonating with my blueprint of freedom. This is embedded in my DNA, and I am freedom. I am resonating that divine freedom of living the next best version of me. And sit in that for a moment as we tap on some affirmations I have written for that. I dwell in gratitude for all my blessings. I trust in the abundance of the Creator. I am a mindful and loving steward of my life and my money. My spending is in alignment with my values and my goals. I am in alignment with universal flow. Being mindful of my money brings me peace. I stand in confidence when it comes to money, because money is divine wealth radiating in me and through me for my highest good and for the highest good of all. And let's take a moment And take another sip of water and allow those ideas to permeate and penetrate you on a cellular level. Let them ground in. Because the next oil we're doing is called abundance. And let's have an abundance of connection here. An abundance of humor in the work that we do in ourselves and with each other. And thank you for bearing with us as we are on this journey together. Abundance is a particular blend, is a manifesting blend. I'm back now. All right. The universe just needed a little dance, I guess. Okay. Abundance is more than just money. Abundance is a way of living from source. Source is eternal. We are eternal. And tapping into that abundance helps us to magnify that energy and frequency. And that is in alignment with the law of attraction. What I'd like to do is something interactive. You can be seated or you can stand, but this is a prosperity pose. And so just like that, you can stand grounding your feet in, your arms up, and I think everyone on the call is familiar with your crown chakra. I'm just doing this to demonstrate the crown chakra, but you want to, you want to pull that energy in through your crown. Allow that divine source energy to go all the way down through your feet. Your arms are up, hands as cups, and imagine the light running in my hands, that divine light running down my arms. I see it flowing through my head, filling my head, going down my neck, joining the energy that is flowing through my arms, down my torso, down the front and back of my spine. That divine energy runs through my pelvis, down my legs, and it flows through my feet. The pores of my feet open up and allow that divine energy to go down into the earth. And my divine abundance is now rooted in the earth. And I send it down right to the core of the earth. I am acknowledging my divine wealth, my divine abundance, my divine radiance. I am a conduit of all the Creator has in store for my purpose here on earth. And I ground that purpose into the earth. And I stand in that purpose, in that divine abundance, knowing that I am limitless. I stand in abundance and freedom. And I radiate that out through every cell of my body. I see it shine forth through every pore of my body. It is filling the room that I am in. It is meeting the light beings who are in my home. And they, too, acknowledge their light consciously and unconsciously, and allow themselves in their own divine timing to also do their work. I radiate this forth throughout my home. throughout my property, and I offer it out into the world, this gift of divine wealth and abundance I carry in me and with me wherever I go. I am that I am, and I acknowledge the I am that you are. Whenever you need to remind yourself that the Creator's abundance is in you, I ask you to tune into this frequency now. You are this and more. Namaste.
Well, there you go. And there you have it. Our top 5 classes for you from the community classrooms, voted top 5 by all of you who have watched it over the years on our YouTube channel. So visit the YouTube channel, subscribe if you want to catch more classes, like the videos that you like. And if you haven't yet, up here, the QR code, point your phone at it, and it should take you to our website. At the website, we have a whole bunch of resources for you, books that our members have written, blogs from our members, blogs from Spiritual Communities Network. We have a directory of our teachers so that you can follow up with them. If you found one that you really want to connect with, do that. And some other things. We have some tools on there. There's an Ask Me Anything spiritual chatbot that will entertain you there too. And I think that's about it. Hope you really enjoyed your day. I hope you learned something new. I hope maybe you revisited with a basic thing that is now relevant again to you. Whatever the case may be, right now we're going into the holidays, people get stressed out. We won't go into the world thing, but there's enough there to stress you out as well. And our members are here for you. They will help support you, help you move through some of the stuff that's going on. And what else can I tell you? Visit our website, sign up for our newsletter. The newsletter is a real easy way for you to see what's going on, what our members are offering, the classes. You can ask questions. You can explore things, explore spirituality. And I think that's it. So thanks for being a part of our event today, celebrating 12 years of bringing spiritual community consciousness to the planet and hopefully supporting you in your spiritual growth. Looking forward to 2024 and all it has to offer you as you continue on your journey. And I love you. Take care. We'll see you soon.